You know, everybody is kind of on the fence about the Terrible Trio / Legion of Doom's punishment, mostly because it involves Cozy Glow. In case you guys don't know, after the big battle and everything in the ending of the end, Luna, Celestia, and Discord, or with Discord's help, punish the Terrible Trio by turning them into a stone statue, basically petrifying them. This includes Cozy. Now this has kind of rubbed some members of the fan base the wrong way, and some non-members of the fan base. Some people that are new to the franchise, or some that respect the franchise for what it is. It's basically kind of rubbed them the wrong way. And it's understandable. I mean, you look at Cozy, who is actually one of the pony's own kind, and she is just a filly / a child that's being petrified and entombed for all eternity, or for who knows how long, in stone. But the question anybody would have is, would there be a resolution, or should there have been a resolution for the villains, an attempt at redemption or something? And that's why I believe the Season 10 comics are going to come into play. Now, in case you guys don't know, Equestria Daily broke the news that in March of next year, we will see the last issue, which is issue 88, of the regular ongoing IDW My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, which is basically their own take on Friendship is Magic with a few tie-ins to the cartoon and vice versa. And afterwards, the following month, they will focus most of their efforts on the Season 10 comic, which is supposed to be a continuation, or is going to be a continuation, of the Friendship is Magic animated series. And should that be the case, and I am doing this uncut and on the fly and unscripted, and should that be the case, which it most likely is, the question a lot of people have is, what stories will we get in there that could be proper conclusions, resolutions to some story arcs and character arcs and stuff like that that were left unresolved, that were left without resolution, that still needed to, basically, will we get answers to questions that have yet to be answered? And depending on how long the comic goes, whether it's 26 issues, 88 issues, 75 issues, 50 issues, who knows, 100 issues, like I said, who only knows? You know, depending on how long it goes, we'll just have to wait and see. But one of the speculations and theories that I've been coming up with lately, is I believe we will get a resolution to this whole villain situation. Because again, I know some fans are not particularly fond of, the villains, most specifically Cozy Glow, being turned to stone as part of the punishment. Because like I said, Cozy is one of their own, one of the pony's own, and she's just a filly / child. So what do I see happening in the Season 10 comic that could be a resolution? Well, honestly, as boring as it may seem to some people, but I think Master Code will like this if he's watching, Master Code AA that is, basically what I see happening is we're going to get an issue that's a court issue. Yeah, we're going to get an issue that's a trial issue. Basically, what I believe happens, or I theorize and speculate could happen, not saying it would, is Twilight, in one of her first acts as Princess of Equestria, overall Princess of Equestria along with her friends, one of her first acts you'll want to do, because Season 10 is supposed to take place between the aftermath of the ending of the end and the coronation of Twilight. So my speculation is Twilight will probably want to set up some kind of court or trial to put the villains on. And of course, Discord will play a part in it. He'll probably be called to the stand or be called to testify, or whatever they want to call it. And he'll admit, yes, he had good intentions, but he wasn't planning on the villains betraying him the way they did. And that his original plan was to try to teach him the values of friendship, and in the end reveal himself as being Grogar, and making him realize, hey, you know what I've done for you guys? I taught you to be friends. Now you know what the value of friendship is, even to villains like you, or something like that. I can see Discord playing a part in that by doing something like that in a testification, if you will, or being called to the stands and testifying, if you get my drift. But what about the villains? Well, I believe the villains, at the request of Twilight, will be not totally, but semi-depetrified. In other words, there'll be some... Sorry for the interruption, but like I said, you could have the villains get depetrified, not fully, but somewhat semi-depetrified, to where they can't do anything, but they could still speak, and everything, and maybe one by one, you separate them. In other words, like if they get Cozy to come up and testify, or put her on trial and ask her all the questions and everything, you could put like petrified wrist chains or something on her so she don't do nothing, and go from there. And you do the same and they could do the same with Chrysalis and Tirek. And the reason I bring this all up is because, again, a lot of people are not too thrilled with Cozy Glow, being one of the pony's own, and also being a filly/child, or a Pegasus filly/child, being petrified. And the resolution I think that we could get out of a season 10 conclusion to this is possibly a Cozy Glow redemption, or at least the start of it, with her acknowledging the reason why she's acted this way, why she, basically decided to be evil, why she decided to be this, be that, why she decided to manipulate, Twilight and the Cutie Mark Crusaders and the rest of the main 7 and Starlight. Basically finally have her admit the truth. And I believe, and I was thinking about this, theorizing this for a bit, I believe the truth will be, and again, this could happen, not saying it will, the truth could be that Cozy Glow's family just kept moving from town to town. Like, they'll move to one town, and just when it looks like she's going to make friends and maybe make a promise that they'll be friends forever, she'll never leave them, that's when her family moves and she leaves them, and the promise gets broken. And she gets upset about that because the friends she makes don't want to communicate with her anymore because she broke a promise. And then they move to the next town and she tries again. And, once again, the same thing happens. She makes friends, says, we'll be together forever, promise, and the family moves again. So my speculation in belief is Cozy Glow's reasoning for being the way she is because her family kept moving. Her family kept moving, and maybe one day what she decided to do was run off, get away from her family, because she doesn't want to be around those that don't care about her. They don't care about her feelings. They don't care about the fact that she wants to stay in one place and make friends. Make friends and, have other ponies and Pegasi to be around and, play games with and stuff. And this is why she became twisted. It's like maybe while she was running away, during her runaway, she decided, it doesn't matter if I go back or not. My family's just going to keep doing the same thing. I need to come up with a way to keep friends. I don't want to lose friends. And maybe that's the resolution. And maybe that's the answer. As convoluted as it sounds, maybe that's the reasoning for Cozy's trek into darkness, into insanity, if you will, basically because of the fact that mentally she got messed up, and during her journey when she probably ran away from her parents, or got away from her family because she didn't want to deal with this anymore, she probably just finally had one of those moments that, villains get, or when characters get when they become villains, where, they suddenly, just snap and they're like, what? I'm not going to lose friends again. I'm not going to lose any friends again. I'm going to keep making friends. And maybe that's what happened. She probably, during her journey, read about the friendship school opening up and said, that's my opportunity. There's my opportunity right there. And, there you go. Again, I know it sounds convoluted. And like I said, and sorry for that interruption, my battery died. I had to replace it with a new one, or at least a temporary one. But anyway, you can make that the reasoning. The reasoning being that Cozy Glow basically, again, like I said, you could have her have one of those moments to where she snaps. Like we've seen in a lot of stories, a character will go on a journey, run off before, on the journey or steps to being a villain, and just have that moment of, she just snaps and she's like, you know what? I'm going to make friends no matter what happens. He's like, and maybe she makes the decision, like wherever she heads to, whatever town she heads to next, that's where she's going to stay, and that's where she's going to make friends. And that's where she's going to make some friends, and she's going to make sure she keeps those friends forever. They're not going to leave her, and she's not going to leave them. And maybe that's why she decides to take over Twilight's school. Because she, in her unstable mind, because of what's gone on in her past, believes that as being the Empress of Friendship, thus becoming head mayor of the School of Friendship, thus becoming the Empress of Friendship, would enable that to happen. It would allow her to achieve her goal of having friends. I mean, when you hear what she has to say in the episode, when she gets the students to tie up naysay, one of the things she says is, before we transition back to Tartarus, I think, is she says, no, I think it's to Tartarus, so it's to the student 6. She says, no pony will have more friends than me. That's one line. And then when she confronts Twilight, when Twilight's trying to figure out why did you do what you did, she can basically say, as head mayor, her answer basically was, as head mayor of the school, she can collect more friends than Twilight. So, there's your answer right there. That basically the reasoning for Cozy Glow being the way she is because of the fact that mentally she just snapped because of, and this is my speculation and theory again, the fact that her family just kept moving from place to place, and that every place they would go to, she would end up making friends and probably make the promise that she'll always be there for them, they'll never be apart, she'll never leave them, only for the exact opposite of what she says and promises to happen. And thus, maybe in her mind, because this is occurring and she broke the promise unintentionally and her friends are not communicating with her, she just decides, you know what, wherever I head to next, I'm going to make sure I make friends, and I'm going to make sure we stay friends forever no matter what. And again, that could be the reasoning. And then when you and honestly, that could lead to a slow Cozy Glow redemption. Because then you could have Starlight and Twilight and all the rest of them kind of understand, okay, we get it, we understand. Heck, you have Cozy Glow, not Cozy Glow, but Scootaloo play a part and say, look, I understand where you're coming from. My parents travel a lot, and they were going to take me away until they saw how important my friends were. And maybe you could have Scootaloo step up to her and say, look, maybe you should have told your family, I have friends here. I don't want to leave. Let's please stay. Let's try to make it work where we are. And that would be a good role for Scootaloo, great character development even through the comics. Or even if it is through the comics, it would be great character development for her. So when I look at Cozy Glow, I see with the season 10 comics a character that will get a redemption if we get a conclusion to what happened to them, and if we get the conclusion in the way that I think we will, or I speculate we could get it, I should say, and that being one of the first issues being a trial/court issue that puts the villains on trial. Now, as far as Tyrek and Chrysalis go, Chrysalis's reasoning is because Starlight and Thorax, she would still look at as a traitor, took away the hive, and she misses the hive. She always depended on the hive like they depended on her, and that's what drove her insane, because she can come out and say, hey, you took my family. You made my family betray me. And then you could have Tyrek admit that the reason he's doing what he did, took magic, stealing magic, isn't because he wants to. It's because he's trying to, it's basically because of what Discord says, as much as he hates to admit it, is to impress his father, King Vorak, who he could allude to, and this could be a good story plot for season 10, he could allude to maybe still being alive, maybe still being around. Who knows? But my overall speculation and thought process on what we could get with season 10 right off the bat is we're going to get I believe, theory-wise and speculation-wise, we could get a resolution and conclusion to this whole villains being petrified situation, mostly with Cozy Glow. And like I said, I think we'll get the resolution and we'll find out the truth as to why Cozy's acting the way she has. And perhaps, in my theory, it's going to be possibly very similar to what I'm saying. That's because of the fact that Cozy's family just kept moving from place to place, and she just couldn't take it anymore because she would make friends and then lose the friends, make a promise to be with the friends and then break that. You kind of get what I'm saying. And in story mode, that would, in story sense, continuity sense, that would mess up, and even reality sense, that would mess a young child's mind up to the point that she would think the only way she's going to make friends is to take over a school like the Friendship School, become head mayor, and thus become empress of friendship. Thus, she'll have all the friends she wants. I'm just saying. So, anyway, though, that's what I feel we could probably get from a story perspective, speculation-wise. From a speculation standpoint, I should say, I believe that's what we could probably get for one of the first stories in the IDW Season 10 continuation of the animated version of Friendship is Magic. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my theories? Do you think that could be the direction they go? Or do you think we could end up going completely, or do you think they'll just ignore that and just focus on bringing resolution to other plot points and stuff from the show into the comic? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. And I am out.